This video is going to talk about the SurgiMAT. The SurgiMAT gives the instructions for the guided smile surgery. Doctors love the SurgiMAT, and so does the team. Why? Because it's one page, it's on the wall, and it gives you the entire instructions rather than having to thumb through 10, 12, 15, 20 pages of information in a regular implant report. The SurgiMAT is meant to be a guide. During surgery, you'll reference it for multiple stages through the entire surgical process. As you'll see, just to get started, you can see which pins will be used in the fixation base when pinning the case. For instance, it'll say short or long. But even before that, it will give instruction if you need to extract any teeth before placing the pin guide, before getting started. That's a key with GuidedSMILE or any guided surgery. You'll also notice that any pertinent notes would be here from the surgery. So if there was some discussion about things that are options, things that might have to happen or should happen during the surgery, there were some notes discussed, we'll put those here. Then you'll progress through. And in this first area here, this is where you have long and short pins, which are also reinforced in this picture. But this will tell you which pin to use, and it'll also show you any obstructions, teeth, implants, things like that, things that might need to be removed or need to be noticed as the surgery gets started. Once the case is pinned, then you'll see that there is a pan here for the implant locations. You'll notice that the implant positions and the implant angles and sizes are all reinforced in these sections. As you move from left to right, you'll also notice that the fixation base has been seated, the bone has been reduced, and you can judge to make sure that the fixation base is seated as planned, which is always floating away from the guide. And you can make a determination if it's in the right place, which it will be, but it's a nice confirmation. The next is the bone reduction guide. This will give you a visual that shows that the bone, where the bone needs to be reduced, just to confirm the volume of bone and teeth to be extracted. Then you'll move over to the osteotomy guide, kind of just another reinforcement that the guide is in the right position, which sites are angled, which are straight based on the visual. And then you'll notice that this is the carrier guide, and that's a reinforcement of which sites are angled, where the access little notches are inside the carrier guide. And then finally, the trajectory of the temp cylinders. So it's nice once you're almost at the point of where you're going to pick up the prosthetic, you'll notice that the temp cylinders are in the same position as they are on the SurgiMAT, confirming that your implants are rotated properly and at the right depth and the right position. So the SurgiMAT will give you the guide through the whole surgical protocol. Again, it's just a guide, it's instructions to augment your normal procedures, but it's a great tool, all in one page. Another item in the SurgiMAT tool is the surgical records form. Now, this is an optional form, but we notice that often in surgery, torques and changes and things like that are being kind of jotted down somewhere, maybe on a surgical napkin or something like that. So we developed what we call the surgical records, and on here you would keep track as you're placing implants, and that would be the torque, the ISQ measurement, if you had any changes in angles or collar heights or anything that you really need to know as you're going through the surgery or even for the restorative phase. If you have different torques and you want to reference back either on the day of surgery or down the road when you're testing the case, you'll reference this sheet because you'll have all your information gathered on here. There's one more item that's with the SurgiMAT. The mat this particular one goes on the wall, and then we also have a supporting SurgiMAT that goes on the countertop. And this allows you to organize all your parts, your temp cylinders, your abutments, and your implants. You'll organize them all on the table according to their positions, and then during surgery, it's a grab and go. Whatever you need, you come here and you take based on implant position. So that's the SurgiMAT. We know you'll love it. It's just a great tool to have for the whole GuidedSMILE system.